Do you feel responsible for everything and everyone around you, especially at work, even when it's technically not your job? Do you find yourself jumping in to fix mistakes that aren't yours, to manage the emotions of other people, and constantly taking on more work because you're afraid of what will happen if you don't take on more work? If you feel like you're the one who is holding it all together, even though you want to fall apart inside, if you feel like you are the strong one, the kind one, but no one sees how much it's costing you, then this video is going to help you. I'm going to show you in this video how to draw the line, how to stand your ground and stop rescuing everyone around you without feeling like you're letting them down. Now, if you watched my previous video on why you struggle to set boundaries at work, which I will link in the description box below for you, then you'll remember my client and the story I shared about her. She's in a senior position at work, but she also helps her husband run his business. She helps her extended family. She helps her younger siblings financially. She's the go-to person for everyone at work, and she's the one who doesn't drop the ball. And on the outside, she appeared competent and calm and having it all together. But she admitted that on the inside, all she wanted to do was scream. She said that she was stressed and anxious all the time, and she was just trying to hold it together. What had happened is that she had become everyone's emotional and operational safety net without realizing it, and it was exhausting for her. She had a soft, loving heart. She was compassionate and kind and caring, and so she wanted to help and jump in to fix things and handle things from a place of love and care and compassion. But what she didn't realize is that she wasn't just doing it out of care and kindness. She was also doing it from a place of fear. The fear of looking incompetent, the fear of not doing enough, the fear of looking selfish, the fear of conflict, the fear of upsetting other people, the fear of other people not being able to handle issues and problems and challenges and breaking down. And so what happened was she handled it all at a cost to her. And the cost of handling it all was that she was always frustrated with herself and with other people, always exhausted and always overwhelmed. But here's the thing, you're not overwhelmed because you're weak or you are doing something completely wrong. You're overwhelmed because you are carrying too much. You've trained yourself over the years to be the one who carries the load, your own responsibilities plus the responsibilities of other people. You have been the one who handles it all, and now people expect that of you. You have become the one that people lean on, that people count on, because you've always said yes and you've never said no. And if something goes wrong, you blame yourself, even when it wasn't your responsibility to begin with. But here's some questions for you. Who can you count on? Who comes in to rescue you when you need it? Who helps you when you are tired and overwhelmed and frustrated, and when you are physically and mentally and emotionally stressed and burnt out, and your voice starts to shake? If this sounds familiar, then you need to know this is not a time management problem. It's also not necessarily a leadership problem. It's a self-esteem and identity pattern that you've developed and that you've been living over the years. These behavior patterns come from your very own belief system, a belief system that may be invisible and unconscious to you, where your thoughts and your beliefs are, if I don't help, that means that I'm selfish. If I speak up, I may make things worse or cause more tension or cause more conflict. If I let go, maybe everything will fall apart. If I don't do it myself, it won't be done right and I'll get blamed anyway. And what you may not realize is that your belief system has been developed. These beliefs don't come out of nowhere. They come out of years of you believing that in order to be accepted, in order for you to be seen and be validated, you need to be useful, you need to be supportive, you need to be generous, you need to be seen as capable, you need to say yes even when you want to say no. So now, without realizing it, you are hooked on jumping in and rescuing and fixing and helping. So what happens is that you can't rest until everyone else is okay. You have to do something or jump in if you know that you are capable of doing it and handling it. You can't watch others struggle because you feel so deeply and you feel that struggle in your own body. And that empathy, that sensitivity that makes you so caring and so compassionate and so loving, that way that you are naturally wired to feel, this is what is burning you out. But it's not about the kindness, the love, the compassion. It's the kindness, the love, and the compassion without boundaries that is your challenge, that's causing your problem. And so what's happened is that when you don't have boundaries, this kindness that you have, this empathy to help and to love and to serve, it turns into over-responsibility. And when it turns into over-responsibility, that means that your self-worth is tied to how much you show up and how much you do for others. And so even with my client that I mentioned in the beginning of the video, she knew that she should be delegating and asking her team for support, but she felt bad to do so. She felt like she was going to hurt their feelings, or she felt guilty to do that. She knew that she should ask her husband to be more accountable and more responsible in his business, but she knew that he was already stressed and overwhelmed, and she felt that stress and overwhelm in her own body. And so when he was anxious, she felt anxious, and so she took on the load and the responsibility and handled everything instead of allowing him to do that. She knew that she was drowning, but she kept on telling herself she can handle it for just a little longer. This is the invisible trap that many driven, determined, caring, compassionate men and women fall into. You think that you're too emotional. You think that you may be weak because you can't show up with more confidence and with more emotional strength. But it's not that. You're not too emotional and you're not too weak. You are emotionally overloaded and you haven't learned how to put that load down. You think you can't speak up because you've internalized the idea that if you speak up, you're going to hurt someone else's feelings, or you're going to be disrespectful or seen as out of control, or that you're not going to be seen as kind. You think you have to do it all, but this is just because you haven't been taught how to lead yourself without abandoning and sacrificing yourself. You haven't learned how to choose yourself and treat yourself as important, like you matter just as much as other people. And so by now you might be asking the question, okay, Cheryl, how do I actually shift this? And to shift it, you don't need to become tougher. You don't need to care less. You don't have to just set boundaries, because if it were as simple as just setting boundaries, you would have been able to do that by now. You shift this by first gaining awareness that you are overworking, over-functioning, and taking on a load that is too much for you to carry. You are being overly responsible. So the shift comes from identifying that you have positioned this overfunctioning and overworking as being noble, and asking for help and support as being wrong. And how you actually shift this mindset is that you have to start identifying the beliefs and the thoughts that you have that make this overfunctioning and overworking and your behaviors and patterns in this regard feel noble. Okay? It's a process of unlearning the patterns that you've been conditioned with that make you forget about yourself, that make you abandon yourself every time somebody else needs something. And it starts with these steps. You have to understand that your worth does not come from how much you do for others and from being overly responsible. You have to learn to sit with the discomfort of other people's reactions without making their feelings and their reactions your responsibility. You have to build safety in your body and in your nervous system so that even when your voice shakes, even when you're afraid, you're still able to lead yourself through that fear and that anxiety. And you need to rewrite your identity from being the helper, the savior, the fixer, the one who jumps in to help everyone, to being a whole human. To stop being invisible in your own life and to start featuring in your own life and start being visible. So this is exactly what I help my clients to do in our work together in my one-on-one coaching program. But for now, if you want to understand yourself more deeply, I've created a 5-minute quiz that is going to help you understand your invisible emotional pattern that has been keeping you stuck. And when you take the free quiz, on the other side of it, you are going to receive detailed feedback and insights about, it's going to be a breakdown of your emotional pattern that has been keeping you stuck. You're going to get an understanding as to why progress and improvement and growth has felt so hard and so heavy, even though you've been trying your best and trying really hard. And you're going to get a clear first practical action step that you need to take in order to start growing and start seeing the confidence, the emotional strength, and the fulfillment that you truly want in your life. The link to the quiz is in the description box below. And I want you to know that this work is not about lowering your standards. It's actually about raising your regard for yourself. It's not about becoming someone else. It's about finally understanding who you authentically are. And it's about reclaiming those parts of yourself that have been buried under pressure and self-doubt and guilt and impossible expectations and fear and anxiety. You don't have to keep on proving yourself and proving that you are a good person and proving that you are competent by doing more than what is within your capacity and what is fair to you. You don't have to feel selfish for wanting peace. You don't have to keep on rescuing others and fixing their problems at the cost of your own mental and emotional well-being. And you are allowed to stop overworking and stop overfunctioning without lowering your standards. And that is what building self-esteem is all about. I'd love to know from you what value you are taking away from this video. Leave it in the comments below. And with that, I will see you in the next video. Bye.